Okay, Ryan, so we have three videos of your backstroke that we took yesterday, and we're going to analyze these. And the first thing we'll just run to a particular point. We're seeing very much of a hooked hand there, and it's better if you can actually keep a hand fairly strong in line with your forearm. We're also seeing, if you note, you've come down in the water, your head's virtually below the water, but your head's sticking up and your body is in a slight curve. That's something we're going to have to address. You can see you've just gone up out the water with your head, and you're going to come back into the water with your head again. If we just go back to this position here, again, that head is out the water, and we're seeing the bum sink in to the water, which is something we really don't want to look at. And you can see here why. We've got a curve from there, and then right the way through the back, and over the legs. So we're curving instead of having a straight line. If you brought that head back slightly and looked straight up, you'd actually straighten out your back, make your hips closer to the surface, and that really is what we want to see in a really efficient, good backstroke. Trying to get that one. Thank you. And that one. Okay. We'll just run it forward now a bit more. You see, that's a fairly strong position. You've got a really good force movement there. Your muscles are being engaged, but we don't want this curve in your body if we can possibly help it. Good rotation to both sides, that's not a problem, and a reasonably good kick. So you're kicking mostly on your side, which is good. And you can see that arm really forced back the water there. So that's not too bad. We'll go on to the second video now. Okay, Ryan, here's the second video, and we're starting from the end. Now, after your initial dive back in, you want to really get into a straight line towards the surface, and you don't quite do that. You're continuing going on straight down, which means you're having to really come to the surface quite quickly there. And you actually started stroking underwater. If we take it from this position, you're quite deep. You're not in a streamlined position. You're starting to stroke, but you're stroking one arm, and now you're still under the water. You've got to time that better so that when you're on the surface, that's when that arm finishes its stroke and you're ready to lift that arm out and take the second stroke. Because you're underwater, you've also got this leg drooping down, trying to kick yourself to the surface, because you're just not there. You know you've not quite made it. So that timing's got to be slightly better, and you mustn't curve up to the surface. You've got to go in a straight line. What you missed to a certain extent was the very strong backstroke kick that should have come into force as you approach the surface. Okay, we're just going to stop it here. You've got a very good extension on the way back. That's good. But you can still see this bobbing in the water much more. Your head's right underwater there. And it'd be better if you were level on the surface all the time. There you go. You're now heading out the water. And if you look, we've got that cocked head and that curved spine again. It's just re-emphasizing it. If you put the head back, because you're so high in the water and your hips actually are on the surface, you'd be in a very good position. And we'll just run this tape out. It's much more of the same thing. Alright, and now what we'll do is we'll go to the third video, which shows something slightly different. Okay, Ryan, on this third video, what we're looking at is your breakout. So let's just run it through and see what we see. Stop that showing. This is the slight curve there. Really, you should be pointing up to the surface at that point if you can, which means that you've really got to struggle to get to the surface, and you see yourself go in that curve and start to point upwards to the surface. Let's look at that again. Okay, we'll just run it through as is. So at this point, you're heading down. Now it'd be nice if instead of that position, you were pointing level with the surface. Instead of going down, you want to be level with the surface. So you really want to get the upper body control to make that happen. Now your fly kicks are okay. They're quite well within your body. and then something happens because you're not heading towards the surface. Here, as you can see, you start curving up towards the surface and you've come out of your streamline. And at that point, you completely stop your kick and you're heading in that curve up to the surface. So you stopped your kick. Whereas what you should have done is, if you really need to get to the surface, you should have started a very strong backstroke kick. And it just meant you finished weakly and you lost all the speed that you had generated underwater. So let's watch that again, and I'll actually put it up to full speed here. And you'll see that happen. You'll see where you suddenly lose that speed. There we go. Suddenly you lost the speed and have to pick it up with your arms. And here it goes again. Okay, hopefully that will help. You see that speed just disappear as you stop kicking. Stop kicking, lose the speed. Okay, there's 3 things to work on, or a few things to work on. We'll see what we can do over the next couple of weeks.